Welcome to the While My Batteries Charge podcast. Join us as we talk about all things radio controlled. And now, your host,
Folks, this man, he is the king.
Mr. CCXRC himself, Tony CC.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, you guys, from my family to yours. To those of you who live in the United States and celebrate Thanksgiving, what a great time it is with family and just remembering all the things that we're thankful for and the blessings that we have in our lives. So, man, it's one of my favorite times of the year. Also, we get to watch the Lions play football, which has been more of a thankful thing in the recent years than it has been in the past, as that used to be pretty tough. I got a little something I'm battling, so every once in a while you hear me clear my throat, but we're going to try and hammer through some of this stuff. There's tons of sales going on. The companies are dropping new stuff, and there's stuff to talk about. So we're bringing the podcast back. We've been asked to by a lot of you, and just again, one of those things where you just don't realize the amount of people listening to it because you don't get the same feedback that you do through the other social medias with the interactions and the comments and the different things that happen. But when it's not happening, it's the most, I haven't had people message me and say, hey, I noticed you haven't posted videos in a minute. Where have you been? But with the podcast, I get messages from people saying, hey, when's the podcast coming back? I've missed, it's a lot different. So, maybe because it's not as crowded of a realm as the video world and the Instagram world and all that, where there's constant stuff being pushed out for that, where maybe it's not noticed as much. But yeah, I've been shocked, and thank you guys for reaching out to me about the podcast. And the plan wasn't to get rid of it; it's just been the busyness. So we're back up and running, and we had one. It's been a couple weeks now, but we're back up here because we've got the Black Friday sales hit, and we've got new stuff coming from companies. I just did videos for Sen on their new Sicario truck, which looks fantastic. I think it looks stunning. I know the body posts, that's the thing on so many cars that I've reviewed that people are like, why does it have body clips? And that's for, Kyosho, that's for like some of the best looking bodies. And I guess it's almost more unfortunate when the best looking bodies do have body posts going through it, right? Because, another Jeep, who cares, right? And, but some of these really cool, sick bodies, I get it. It does have body posts, doesn't bother me a ton for the way that I use these. But for some of you guys that really scale them out and do stuff, I get it. I get that that's a bit problematic for you. They will have clear options for this, and you can do your paint jobs and other stuff for it. But it is a really great looking shell, and I like that it's not a new modern Ford. It's not licensed, but it definitely looks like an early to mid 60s Chevy, and it looks fantastic. So basically it's the same truck underneath that. It does have new wheels and tires that are licensed, and but the drivetrain for the most part is the same that you've seen from the other trucks. This one on the body does have some molded plastic pieces and things like that. It does have headlights that work, but yeah, it's a stunning looking truck. So if you're somebody that likes to do the towing and the hauling and that kind of stuff and scaling stuff out, this is for you. It's not for everybody, and I would say that about any RC, right? The micros that I like, the minis, they're not for everybody. The bashers, not for everybody. They're not for the people like crawling. So there's a spot in this hobby for anyone. You just have to find out where your niche is. Like in fact, I have one. I have one of the Red Cat lowriders that does all the cool, like hydraulic type stuff. But running them, it wasn't me. Like I love to see what people do with them, but I don't deck them out. I don't even drive mine. I drove it 2 times, I think. Once for the video and maybe one other time. Doesn't get used. Sits in the box, literally in the box with the the cool wrap around the box that it's in as well. So it's like just sits there untouched, not getting dusty, just sits there. And it's a cool truck. Like I wish I had a place to run it and do it, but it doesn't really pique my interest. But you give me a little mini crawler and a table with dirt and rocks on it, I'll sit there and I'll play for an hour, a couple hours, you know? So it doesn't even stay the same, right? So, you know, I was into monster trucks hot and heavy for RCs for a long time. I still love actual monster trucks and following the racing and the drivers and everything they're doing, but I don't get out and run the monster trucks like I used to. And when I do, usually I'm running the mini ones and just kind of jumping them in the house, things like that. So, but speaking of minis, there's some new stuff out on that front. We just got some brushless options from Arma and their Grom series. Look fantastic. The Mojave especially. Oh my goodness, that black one that they have with the gold. And they have it in like this pink purple. Like the schemes are really cool on it. The liveries. Really, really cool. Super fast. $200 kept the price on it really decent for a brushless truck like that. I know they're smaller, but man, it's awesome. It rips. Speaking of other minis, Traxxas released the Mini Max, which looks very impressive, and looks like a really fun option. Bigger 18 scale than the Arma Grom offerings. So like the Granite Grom looks a lot smaller in my opinion than the Mini Max. The Mini Max has more ground clearance too, bigger tires, just a little bigger overall platform. It feels like, I know Tom Lee had some issues with his and had some gripes with it. I feel like, you know, he changed out the whole motor system to a bigger VXL system, and it does run 10 scale electronics in it. And so it's like it's meant to be upgraded in order to handle the 3S and this other stuff. But he was just blowing out diff gears and stuff like that, or whatever it was, the output or whatever in the diff. And 3 of them he smoked very quickly and wasn't very happy with it. Thought it should be able to handle it since it says it can do 2 to 3S. And that it's meant to, you know, put in these other systems. Some people are telling him that he should run the center diff option that they have for it, because it doesn't come with a center diff, which isn't even available yet. So there's some little things like that, a little drama with it. But I think on the overall, you know, I think you'd run into some issues. We were blowing stuff out on the Groms. So that's the nice thing with the new brushless Groms. They do have the metal gears. So they have a lot of upgrades in them that if you were to just build this truck or buy the parts to upgrade your current Grom, you might as well just buy this one, because the cost of doing it is high when it's not put into a kit and into a ready to run. So to get the nicer upgraded diffs and the brushless and all that, it's basically to the point you should just buy the car and just leave your other one brushed, or just do a different brushless option for it. Anyway, all of that said, I think they're both great offerings. I think the Arma Granites and the Arma Groms are cool. The buggies the Typhons don't really interest me too much. It's just not my thing. It's even lower to the ground, and, you know, it already grass and some stuff like that with the lower things aren't my... It's just, you have to have dirt and things like that to run on. So would not be my option. Anyway, what else have we seen? The new Traxxas Bigfoot racing stripe, 4-wheel drive, not solid axle. It's basically like a 4-wheel drive Stampede, or kind of like we used to do those Slash Monster conversions that J Concepts had. Kind of resembles that in some ways. I think on the overall, it looks pretty cool. The video they did for it was fun. Wasn't very monster trucky. It was like skate park jumping and cool grinds, and so I guess it's not very monster trucky. It's like kind of a little bit what Big America does with it, a little bit Kamikaze RC, but Big America. I think I might have said Bigfoot. Big America he does the grinds and some of that stuff, but he kind of keeps it to like the little monster truck style jumps and things like that. I would have loved to seen a little throwback to some real monster truck kind of hits with like crush cars and stuff like that. But they were just showing like you can air it out. It's a very capable basher. And so if that's what you want to do is have a sweet Bigfoot basher, it's right up your alley. It's going to go fast. It's going to jump big. It's going to take a beating. I think we're going to see more just trashed, thrashed, beat to crap Bigfoot racing straight bodies than we've ever seen before. People are going to destroy those things. Hopefully they'll either maybe take it off and save that for like when it needs to look cool, or buy an extra one, a spare one. I wish I'd have done that with my Gravedigger Stampede that I got. That was my first. That's why I can't hate on it. My first RC, like really hobby grade one that really got me into the hobby was the Traxxas Stampede Gravedigger 2-wheel drive. It's still just a fun truck to take out and to run. I mean, there's something about the 2-wheel drive monster trucks that are just stupid fun to run. No control, wheels up, but they're just a blast. So, yeah, I can't hate on it. I know people want to hate on it. Yeah, not going to hate on it. It's really cool. Other new stuff, we had the new Vanquish optic kit with like the Starburst flavor options, like multiple colors, not really, but they have multiple different liveries. But it's another mystery box kind of a thing. So I understand why they did it, and I understood why they did it from the beginning. And that's because they wanted to offer more than the one or two that you normally offer in something like this. Because when you do, it makes it hard for hobby shops, but it also makes it hard on the company because if nobody wants those other color options, they get stuck with a bunch sitting in the warehouse where all the color options that people wanted or the shops wanted to try to sell are the ones that, or they got to try and guess. It's kind of like t-shirts. Like when you order t-shirts for your band or for your YouTube channel, if you do it the old school way where you have to order them, but the t-shirt company will only do, quantities of, let's say 50 or more. But you have to now choose what sizes you think people are going to buy. And you want to have something for everybody. But then you get it and everybody wanted, say, XL. Well, you only thought that 5 people were going to get XL. And you ordered a bunch of larges and mediums and smalls, a couple 2Xs, whatever. But the 5 sold and now it's sold out of XLs. That's what people still want. And the people that are wanting to buy them all want XL. Now you've got all these other shirts that aren't selling because they're not the size of the people that want to buy your shirt. It's kind of like that. And you have this guessing game and then, but this way it's smart from a business standpoint. And then what they're doing is they're going to sell the liveries that you can just buy. It's better than having kits sitting there with liveries in them that people don't want, but then they don't buy the whole kit because of it. Sell the kits, let them have the liveries they come with, and then sell, all the colors so that people can then try to buy the one that they want. I think it's smart. It's a cool looking truck as well. I personally would buy the Ready to Run because that's me. I wouldn't have time to build it, and I feel bad asking people to build it. Travis has been so good. Jeremy was so good to me in Virginia. Both of them helping me with builds and stuff because time's just an issue with them for me. And actually, I have to mention a buddy of mine, Brandon, who just did a build for me, but of his rigs. I just did a little spot for him on my YouTube about his company they started called Venge. And it's his name, engineering. And it's the first initial of his last name, the V. And then the ENG for engineering. So it's Venge. And his mini stuff is insane. The way that he sees things and thinks through things and tries different builds and tries to I don't like this problem that I encountered with such and such of a product. How can I overcome that? And then he just comes up with all these crazy ways to do it. And it's amazing to watch. His design aesthetic is awesome. I love the style of his builds. From his caged vehicles to his wonky, crazy ones that are just out of this world kind of looking, to the ones that he then has that are more traditional looking, and then hard bodies and all that are comp cut and all that. Just really, really cool products. So he just finished up a build for me of one of his chassis designs with his links, his body, all the cool, his links that he has, and the craziness, his mounts and all that for the motors. I can't wait to show you guys. His builds are just insane. And I've already seen pictures of it, and it's right up my alley. What he did with it is unbelievable. So now hopefully my driving style can figure out how to drive such an awesome rig, because I've been driving something that's pretty clunky for 4 years now, and I've gotten pretty used to driving clunky stuff, and it's kind of my driving style now. So we hope that it'll go all right, because this thing is killer. Super high clearance, the way that he does stuff. He's come up with new ideas on ways to change the output shafts and different things in order to create these super high clearance rear ends of the vehicles that are just unreal. So that's coming. In fact, I could get it tonight. It's done, but we have family coming into town for Thanksgiving, so I don't think I'll be able to get out and get it. So I can't wait to get it. Can't wait to show you guys. But I have pictures, but I don't want to share them until he has the ability to share them, or I do a video with him talking about the build and what he did with it, and all of the cool parts and how it's built. So, it's pretty special. I'll just say that. We've been seeing some new stuff from Reefs, a bunch of people. We've been seeing a few things heating up here. There was some new Tamiya, like lowrider truck looking thing that Pablo just sent me that looks super rad. It's been cool to see. There's crazy sales out right now. Like you can get that Red Cat Ascent 18 again for under $100, which is I've been just singing its praises since I got it late. I did not get it when they first came out, and I was like, 18 scale has not been my thing. Haven't really found a liking for it. I feel like the smaller is better. Just it's more my style. I like the smaller vehicles. It's more niche. And if you're gonna be small, make it small. Like I want that. I want it super small but capable, and they keep making them bigger. Well, Red Cat nailed it. Like out of the box, I think it's the best handling, most ready to do all the upgrades to, like we've been doing to the SCX24. It's killer. I started out by just putting brass wheels on it and new tires, and I won with it like right away. Against trucks that were super built up and brushless, and so it's really capable. It's a little bit stuttery on like when you bind up against some tough stuff, getting the motor to kind of push through, but it's pretty smooth. Overall, it's pretty smooth, but you do have to give it a little bit more input on the throttle. But on the overall, very, very, very good. And then, there's the Red Cat haulers on sale. They've got that cool old school truck design. Looks like it's straight out of Cuba to carry your low riders on. That's $200 off. Traxxas has got like $200 off of like the X-Max. There's some big sales going on right now. There's the new the micro buggy from Losi that came out. That thing's pretty sick looking. What else? Man, there's been a lot. Oh, the new Kagama from Team Corrali. That looks pretty rad. I saw RC Guy Garage was running that thing. I think Razor RC, some of those guys out there. But yeah, it's been fun. Like I've been watching more RC YouTube recently than I have been in the last year. I really got into watching some other stuff, fishing videos and disc golf. So multiple hobbies. This guy right here. Then, my job being back into music again, been doing a lot of YouTube on that, just trying to grow again and keep pushing myself. That's my thing. I always am trying to push myself, whether it's RC or whatever we're doing. Like, because honestly, guys, coming into RC for me, 10 years ago-ish now, I didn't know anything about cars. I didn't know anything about working on stuff, not super handy. Didn't know the parts of a car. I've had to learn all of that just in order to work on the RC cars. I didn't know what a differential was. I didn't know the difference between a solid axle and independent suspension car. Like here, I was like 30 some years old. I had no idea about any of this stuff. My dad was an artist. He didn't really deal with this. He always drove a van. And we weren't super car people. Like, it just wasn't what my childhood was. Now I look back, I'm like, man, I wish I'd have, been into cars and some of this other stuff. I see people that work on them and do all this cool stuff. And I'm like, man, I wish that would have been something I'd learned. And so I've tried to pick up some of it as I've gone just because of the RCs, but I wasn't that guy. I played music and I did art stuff and I did, video production, photography. that was kind of my thing. So all this like car stuff has been like a big learning experience for me. I'd tape down on my desk that would say pillow balls and rod ends and words that I wouldn't remember to say, things that I needed like reminders of. I had all of that. Like, I didn't know the difference between the transmission and the transfer case or what even that was. I just thought it was all transmission. I wouldn't have known if somebody pointed to me and asked me what it was. I said, oh, that's a transmission. Like, dude, that's a transfer case. I'm like, huh? No, that's like in the gear. No, like, yeah, portals, straight axle, any of this stuff. Nah. So it's been a long road for me learning this stuff, and it's been enjoyable. I've lived a lot of it out online. So, people have seen some of that growth. I like to build stuff. I like to rebuild stuff. I think it's partly, I build stuff on computers all the time. Like, you build stories out of not nothing, but you take pieces and you assemble them in order to make a story. So in some ways I like the building process where I have some of those pieces already together and I just add to it, and you take something and you create something new out of it. I like that. I like taking a ready to run that I can play with and I get that enjoyment right away from. And then I can also, go back and, change it, and I can make it my own and customize it, upgrade parts on it. That's kind of more my operational style, because I like that quick fix of like, ooh, I just got this and I want to go out and use it right now. They got this and then like, I got it like a month before I'm going to be able to run this. Not quite as enthusiastic for me about that kind of a thing. I know some people it is. But I guess the video side for me is so much of a part of it that the idea of getting it and be able to make the video of it running and show it doing these cool things is what was really exciting to me about it in the beginning. And when you're building videos weren't what I wanted to be doing. I wanted to be showing it running. So, but yeah, we're seeing some kits again from surprising places. Speaking of kits, the SCX, the Axial 10 scale Pro kit is going on sale. Their comp kit. So forgot about that. That was something else. But yeah, it's been a fun ride. I'll tell you what. I'm thankful for the hobby. I'm thankful for the people that I've met in doing this hobby. And looking back, it's one of those kind of things we start to do around this time of year. And just reflect on different things, givings past or different Christmases past, kind of end of year, what that year held, but then kind of comparing it to other years. It is pretty wild to look back and see. And part of it is I just had somebody show me, they commented on a really old SCX10 video that I had. And I'm like, man, I had no idea about anything. Anything back then. Learning about all the different speeds of things and the gearing of these brush motors and brushless motors and the KVs and the can sizes and the impacts of all the different things that happen to make the trucks go. It's like, wow. Like, I had no clue about any of it. I was just doing everything with 12-turn motors or 35-turn motors or 55-turn motors, 50-turn. We were doing some of those and running them on 3S back in the day when I was running with my buddy Nate, and he was doing his RC 4-wheel drive Defender that I thought was the most amazing thing in the world. They cut it into a cool truck one before you could just get them that way. I did a killer job with it. You should watch some of those old videos of that. It was pretty good. But yeah, so my thing now is the minis. I really enjoy the mini crawlers. And that 18th scale, one of them finally captured my heart. It's been captured. And it's the Red Cat. I wanted to like the Traxxas one, and it's not that not even what happened with Traxxas, but it's like I don't know. I didn't like working on it. It didn't perform that great for me out of the box. Not like the Red Cat. It just didn't hit the boxes that the Red Cat did right out of the box for me. So, and it even had a Defender body, which is a big win. It's a great start in my book. Put a Defender body on it, and I will want it. And I did want it, and I got it. And it was good. Put the low gearing in it, put some brass on it. Eventually went brushless. Still probably wouldn't be as capable as the Red Cat that I have. So, yeah, the Red Cat just somehow really, really shot the 18 scale into my world. It was, I've had so many 18 scale, and all of them were like, great, it's cool, it's what it is. Put it on the shelf, and then do the video. Don't really run them. Not the Red Cat. The Red Cats are sweet. So I think I've said Red Cat enough times in this podcast. We can probably stop talking about them. But anyway, guys, I'm going to keep this shorter. I do have family coming into town. I did want to get one up. I wanted to say, first of all, lastly, first of all, I should have said at the beginning of this how thankful I am for you guys. I know I did that. You reached out to me and you let me know that you wanted this back, that you listen, that you enjoy it. But I just thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for the support that you've been to me, for kind of the online family that you've become, and just the awesome community that's been built, just around RC, but just that you've let me be a part of is more than anything yet. Not that I'm creating any type of community, but that you guys kind of accepted me into the community of the RC. And so I'm just grateful for that. I'm grateful for the people that are putting out cool content for me to watch as well. I mean, it's, the knowledge base that's out there, for the growth that I've been able to have because of people who have poured into making videos and making content that help me learn, but also the people that have helped me along the way in person, just show me and talk to me about things. It's been huge. It's really helped me stick at it because there's more than just playing with toy cars. It was really kind of this, a learning experience, but also just a chance to grow in the people that I've met. And I just feel like I've grown personally through all of it. So thank you guys for that. And I look forward to doing more of these podcasts in the near future. More coming. Can't wait to talk about my new micro build from Venge RC that I'm getting here very, very soon. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.